and pizza is a classic combination, but handcrafted beer and pizza from Wichita Brewing Company is a magic combination. Join me, Brett Hightower, as I explore wineries, breweries, and brewpubs on this episode of Untapped Kansas. All right, here we are at Wichita Brewing Company. Kyle Bannock, got to do a cheers right off the bat.
Cheers.
So, I love everyone's stories, how everyone gets together and makes a dream happen kind of a deal. And what does that look like for Wichita Brewing Company?
We started off as a lot of breweries, just a small home brewing idea that took off into a bigger idea. So started off with a few small batches and then turned out really well and figured out how do we make this into something bigger that could turn into a business and be able to sell this to the public and everyone can enjoy.
And now we've got a west side location, we've got an east side location. You guys have the warehouse and actual production facility. Well, actual production, like you guys are big guys now.
Yes.
And I mean, that's a lot of growth. And with food and everything going on, I mean, that's huge. And when did that start to where we are now? I mean,
it just started to unravel, I guess, into more and more of like, this is a good idea. How do we try and capitalize on it? Starting off on the west side, then we'd have a lot of our east side clientele be like, I wish you guys would make one out here so we could help service them, not have to drive across town. That happened, and then through some good contacts of how do we produce beer on a larger scale, to getting bigger equipment, getting a warehouse where we can brew on a large scale and can and distribute, to now where we have an event venue where we can host our own big events, weddings, caterings like that. So a little bit of everything going on with us. A little bit of everything. Yes.
That's awesome. I love those stories because it's just idea to reality. And so let's go take a peek and see what's going on with the guys down in the warehouse and see what the brew house looks like and maybe take a peek at some canning as well.
Absolutely.
So with Wichita Brewing Company, we've got a lot of locations that we brew beer at, and it originally started at our West Side Brew Pub. It's a 3-barrel system. We've got our East Side Brew Pub. It's a 7-barrel brew house, and where we're at right now is our production facility, and we can brew beer 15 to 20 barrel batch sizes, and that's what we do most every day, and that's for our best-selling beers, for the beers that get distributed around the state and beyond, beers that get distributed in cans, liquor stores, restaurants. Beyond that, we also have some other flexibility with batch sizes. Our smallest batch size is going to be our 5-gallon test batch system. That's basically, it's my home brew system, and brought it down here. We can do fresh ideas real quick, get a result, make a decision. Next size up from that, we've got a 45-gallon batch size, and that's what we use. We will brew real neutral wort, or what wort is called the liquid that becomes beer once it's fermented. So we'll do a small 45-gallon batch of wort, and we'll use that to propagate yeast with. And then once that yeast grows, we can then do a full batch size into that yeast. And then beyond that, then we start getting into those previously mentioned batch sizes.
All right, so we're going to continue with Wichita Brewing Company, fleshing out the wonderful story you guys have. And one of the original members heard something about drinking in a backyard.
We do a lot of drinking in the backyard. I started home brewing in 2005, and Greg, my business partner, him and I met in 2008. We made some home brew systems and just kind of got to know each other making beer in the garage. When we eventually developed the idea of starting a brew pub, we knew we wanted to pair our beer with pizza, so Greg built a brick oven in his backyard to test pizza recipes. Just like we were brewing beer in his basement in my garage, we were also making pizza in his backyard. So we'd have parties, and invite people over to sample, get opinions on what we should add on the menu, what we shouldn't have on the menu, that sort of thing.
So if you build it, they will come, for lack of a better bad movie reference going here. But so he's like, we like beer, we like drinking beer, we're gonna start brewing beer. We like pizzas, let's make a pizza oven. I mean, it was literally that simple. I know it wasn't simple, but I mean, that's just that Genesis story.
Yeah.
And look where you guys are now. So I mean, and the pizzas are going, all the recipes that were developed, and you have one named after you as well, correct?
Around the Horn, yes.
Around the Horn.
Last name's Horn.
So, okay, awesome.
We like to call it a light switch personality. Greg and I are both that way. Like, once we've decided we're going to do something, it is 100%. There's no messing around. We're going to do this. And then when the light switch is off,
That's just
the light switch has been on for 8 years, and we're just trying to keep it going.
I love it. I mean, it's the whole something from nothing thing. We started with, I won't say meager means, but I mean, you started with an idea, and now an incredibly successful brewery and pizzeria. Well, not pizzeria, and we have pizza. It's awesome pizza in Wichita. Wichita Brewing Company. Cheers, Jeremy.
Cheers.
The Shaven Yak is my personal pride and joy. It's a brown ale that is 5%. It's an English style, and what that means, it's got real prevalent roasted caramel notes, similar to kind of toasted nuts, and it's not hoppy. It's real subtle, more on the malty side of things. And this came about a couple years ago. We were trying to come up with some new ideas, and I've always been a big brown ale fan. When I was home brewing on my own, I just kept playing with different recipes, and we decided that this would be a beer that we don't have in our portfolio ourselves, nor is there a lot of other English style brown ales on the marketplace on liquor store shelves. So we put together some test batches. We nailed one down. It's been our most successful beer as far as awards go, and it's one of those beers. It's an everyday beer, something that we've been real proud of.
Well, I had to pop back to the warehouse here at Wichita Brewing Company, see all the guys and gals one last time. This is Brett Hightower for Untapped Kansas. Cheers. Cheers.